Alright, and here we are at our first example. Now, nothing really looks out of the ordinary except for we have this white smoke writer geo 5002 en executable file, and it's made by White Smoke Inc. Now, the red flags on this program are that firstly it pops up when the computer first comes up. So it's trying to install itself as soon as the computer starts up, and we don't know what it's trying to install itself for. In this situation, the user themselves, they didn't install the program, they didn't tell it to install, it just all of a sudden popped up. And if we look a little bit further, we're going to see that this file is under Documents and Settings, User, Local Settings, and TE. And the reason why I know what TE is because I know that that's the temporary internet folder on this computer. So really, effectively, what we have here is a Trojan that's hiding out in the temporary internet files on this computer, and it has a startup item for it. If we go to Start, and if we go to Run and type in msconfig, you can also type in msconfig when you go to your Start menu, and just down at the bottom of the Start menu there, if you're using Windows 7 or Windows Vista, you can type in msconfig, and it'll pull it up too. And we have a few items here, but we're only going to really be concerned with these two tabs, which are the Services tab that shows us all the running processes on the computer, and we also have a Startup tab. And the Startup tab shows us all the items that are running when the computer first starts up, or that are set to run. And you see here we have VBox tray, which is for our virtual box. We have CTFmon. This is a legitimate Windows process that starts up. We have Google Update, which you could really disable this if you want to, but it was put there by Google Chrome. And we also have our last item, which is White Smoke Translator. And if we look at the location of where this file is, you're going to notice it differs. Say for example, VBox tray is in System 32. We have CTFmon, System 32. Now you have to be careful as well, because there are also viruses and other Trojans and different things. They'll put themselves in System 32, but normally you can catch those because they're going to have a randomly generated name. And if you look here under Google Update, this file is under Application Data, Google Update, googleupdate.exe. So even that mirrors what the program is, but this one is under Documents and Settings, User, Local Settings, Temporary Internet Files, IE Content, under this randomly generated folder here, and under White Smoke, and it's an executable. And we can see that it's set here to run on startup. So we have a program here that's a Trojan, and the person could have either been on a website and they were redirected, or maybe there was a script on a website that they went to, and it put this file in the temporary internet files, and it also modified the startup on this machine so that it would try to run this executable every single time the computer starts up. And of course, if the executable successfully ran, then it would cause more issues with the computer as well. And in this case, there are a few different ways that we can actually remove this threat, but I'm just going to go ahead and go on the quickest way, which I could think of, is to just use Hitman Pro. And Hitman Pro is in our tools, of course. We went over it. It's an executable, so it doesn't have to be installed. We can just run it and let it do its work. And we're just going to go ahead and do a default scan. You have to accept the end user license agreement. If you want to read that, you can. And I'm going to tell it I only want to perform a one-time scan on this computer. Click on next, and it's going to go ahead and do the scan. And if you notice here, we have a few cookies, and all tracking cookies are small text files that different websites use to keep track of who you are. Some of them are good, some of them are necessary. If there are websites that you go to that you like to go to, and maybe you don't like to log in, and some of them are bad, and that's the reason why I picked those up. And as you can see, the scan is almost done. And Hitman Pro is pretty nifty because it actually uploads any problem executable files that it believes may be a virus, and it's going to upload them to their servers and let their servers check it out. So there's not really a reason to update, because if it does have a question, it's going to ask its servers, which are in the cloud. Now, of course, if you didn't have an internet connection, it could also do some basic scans too. But it's, like I said, it's a really nifty tool. In this case, we can see that it went ahead and quarantined this file, and that's because it was in use, and it can't really delete it, I don't believe, right now. But I'm going to go ahead and click on next, and here we have our prompt, and it's asking me for a product key, but we're just going to use the free license for right now, and that'll enable us to use this program for 30 days. And if I go ahead and click on that and give it a little bit of a second, then it's going to tell us that the free license has been activated, and there we go. And we can go ahead from here and click on next, and we can click on next again, and it will go through and delete those files that were in the directory there that were causing us a problem. And it currently says that it's done. So we're going to go ahead and close this. So now we're pretty much good to go. And the only other thing which may be a problem is if we go here to msconfig, if we check out our startup, oh, but it actually cleared that out too. So see, some programs may not clear out the startup items, and you have to go in here and manually uncheck them. But this program actually went ahead and cleared it up for us. So we're actually good to go. Hitman Pro did its job. And once again, like I said, it's always good to know the programs that are installed on your computer and what you put there and what you didn't put there, and what you need and what you don't need. Because a lot of people, you'll be surprised, have so many different programs on their computer and they may not even know what they do. But those programs have corresponding hidden consequences, which are that certain programs are set to run on startup, and certain programs have services that run with them, and those services slow down your computer. So it always helps to know what you're doing and what the different programs are that you've installed on a computer are, so that you can look in here if you need to and disable any items. You can see here we have a checkbox to also hide all Microsoft services, and so really once we do that, we see what the other additional items are, which are just that there's a Office Source Engine and the VirtualBox service there, and that's it. So just wanted to show you a basic Trojan and how that can be removed. And next, when we come back, we're going to have a little bit of a harder virus to get rid of. Wrapping up this section on our first infection, I'm going to go ahead and draw your attention to two separate items. We're going to have two different websites that you can use to find out about startup items that you think may be malware oriented, okay? A good database is going to be at the Bleeping Computer website, http://www.bleepingcomputer.com/filedb/. This website contains a lot of different file names that are used by malware and different fake virus software. Another website, a process database that's used to tell what different Windows processes are used for, http://www.processlibrary.com.